Daniel and Iona, it is such a pleasure to have you both in the studio. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
it's great to be here.
Daniel, I would love to start with you. Can you talk to us about the story of Come On In Live and the journey of creating this one-man show?
Sure. So many folks know me from my masking work, which is a visual art form that I do on the face with paint. And oftentimes people have asked me, well, how did you start doing this? And I've never had a really good answer to give them because there was so much that went into me getting to that practice. And so this show is really kind of about detailing what that was, how I went from being an MC to being a visual artist, but also having this experience of sort of mental crisis that I've had, and then finding ways to get through that and understanding the lessons that I learned from that process were all the things that I wanted to bring to this show.
Excellent. And this is also, as you said, it's a deeply personal piece about mental health. Can you speak to the various elements that you weave together in telling this story and how they touch on the specific experience of being a Black male?
Yeah. So, I think it's Baldwin who says if you're a Black man in America and you're not enraged, then there's something wrong with you. We go through a lot of things as Black males. We often don't have the same amount of resources at our disposal to help us through those. And this kind of idea of manhood as being something where you're isolated, you have to handle all of your issues yourself. You don't reach out for help. All kind of combine to make a very difficult time for Black men, especially when they're maturing to adulthood. And so, I certainly had my own difficulties with it, and the show is also about really giving the audience understanding of some of those issues that come into mind, how you identify, what you believe in. I grew up in hip hop, which has its own value system. I also grew up in church, which has its own value system, and then I also went to these sort of predominantly white schools, which had their own value system. And so trying to understand who I was in all those three different spaces is really kind of what the show is about as well.
And Iona, I'd love to bring you into the conversation as an illustrious member of the stage and screen. Can you talk about how you collaborated with Daniel in bringing his story to the theater, and especially moving such an intimate piece to a large space as the Strand Theatre? What were some of the challenges in doing that?
Yes, thank you. I started with Daniel on his workshop, and I helped him as a dramaturg, and then we put that on last year. And then he came back to me, a new script, and then I helped him as a dramaturg on that, and knowing that I was going to direct, and then I've come in to direct that. And us working together, my whole belief in this is whenever I get a script, it's usually quite wonderful, but then let's go deeper. What are you really saying? And oftentimes people say, well, I really don't want to tell folks that, and I'm like, that's what you need to tell, because that story right there resonates with all of us. What you are afraid to share is what all of us in some form or fashion have. And so that's how we work together developing the script. In the show, the Strand is a gorgeous, beautiful, large theater. So someone can get swallowed. So initially it was thinking of putting with my lighting designer, putting beautiful fabric on the side and lighting through it. So we kind of bring in the theater. But then I got the set designer, and she's got stuff around, and I like to move actors, and so we're using that space, and we're also not using it indiscriminately. He doesn't move without there being a reason why, so that it will fit the story, and the audience will come with us. And we have things of his life on the set, and it's sparsely done, but creatively and colorful and informative as to who he is.
I'm very excited hearing all of that. And this question is for the both of you. What have you each learned about yourselves in the process of telling this story?
Yeah, I guess I'll get started. I think I learned a lot about how much I've grown, really, because this story has allowed me to look at past moments in my life where I've really struggled and has brought up all those different emotions. But being able to move through it has shown me that I've really developed. And so I think it's really shown the importance of the story because these struggles have handicapped me for a while. And then seeing that in telling my story, I'm able to face these things and even move through them and even share them is a testament to that growth. And that growth has happened throughout my life, but especially around this production. And I definitely just want to shout out Iona. Iona's been not only my director, but she's been my psychic, my therapist, my she's been my coach, my confidant, and that level of trust I think is so important to what this show is about, because the show is really about, it's called Come On In Live, it's like come on into my mind. I'm going to show you my mind. And that's another reason why the Strand Theatre I think is so great. It is a very expansive place, which is perfect because it's really, my mind is really what the audience is going into this play. And so yeah, just that level of vulnerability and that level of sharing, which is not usual, especially for men to do, has expanded my ability to speak on the things that I've been through in such great ways.
That was great, Daniel. I wanted to also mention that along with that, when the scenic design we have with 2 large screens that also help bring in we hope that you feel like you're in his mind in a way of the images that we have and the music that he also performs from time to time, his original music, which is just really great. I've learned so much more about listening to actors, and I'm an actor myself, but there is something of, I have a plan as a director. Daniel will say, yeah, you got a plan. But listening to them, because my direction could open up something that he hadn't thought of, a story he hadn't told me about, a move that he hadn't made, shared before, that could maybe help me help him develop that. So we're not going to move here and there or this way, the emotion that we're talking about. It's actually something else. I hope you, there's a high school moment that we have. We were on it for hours. And I couldn't figure out, this is so simple. And then we went to his high school that I thought was a college when I looked at the campus, Milton Academy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then I started to understand the experience in high school. He wasn't walking down hallways where kids are like this. This is an expansive thing where you don't see many people who look like you. And that is not often an easy thing to talk about. I went to Beverly Hills High School, so I completely understand that. And it changed the scene. And that is so exciting to me. I tell Daniel every time, I believe in the creative spirit. I don't care what happens. I know that whatever happens, something we want or something we don't want, that is supposed to happen. And it has never proven me wrong. And through this process, we've seen bumbles of this or that. Something always happens. And it's often opened up a whole, wow, why don't we do this, which we hadn't thought of. And so I've become more a student of theater, of the arts of creativity, whether it's film or television, more of a believer in the spirit of creativity and what it can bring you if you just stay open and not make your brain the winning factor of everything.
Who is the show for, and what advice might you have for Black men who might be on the fence about coming?
Yeah, the show is definitely for Black men, but more importantly, it's for our whole community. It's really important that we understand what's happening with Black men and understand what they're going through, and also provide spaces for them to share what they're going through. And so while the show is about my personal life as a Black male, and I'm hoping that I can relate to other Black males as well, I'm also hoping that mothers, sisters, girlfriends, friends in general are coming to the show, because the more we can understand about each other, the more that we can both grow and the more that we can connect. So I think this show is really for my community. It's for people who have a foot in the church, for people who have a foot in schools, for people who enjoy hip hop, and for folks who are just curious about all those things and curious about the Black men in their lives. I think this is a show for you.
And can I add to that? I think this is for all men of all nationalities, because it's about putting up a facade of I can take care of everything and I'm going to be fine, and it's that mental health that we have. You know, you women love to take men to theater all the time, and they go like this. We know that. We know that. But the moment the show starts, they'll realize this is for me. Yes, black men, absolutely, he's black, but for men, period. They need to know, they need to see another man who's talking about, I'm tired of always being the one that's looked to take care of everything, and for me not being able to speak about what my pains are, and how that does make me stronger, and the family stronger, when we can all discuss who we are inside the facade we often put up to our loved ones.
How can our viewers learn more about Come On In Live and attend?
Sure. So we have a website, it's comeoninlive.com, and you can get all the information about how to attend, where to go. It will be at the Strand Theatre. We're showing for 3 nights, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. And
Of March.
Of March, this month, yes, coming up in several days now. And yeah, we're really excited, but all the information can be found on the website.
All right, wonderful. Daniel Callahan, writer and performer of Come On In Live, and Mrs. Iona Morris-Jackson, director of Come On In Live. Break legs. I look forward to seeing the show.
Thank you. Very
Thank
lovely
you.
to meet you.